Those are the days. As a young boy, I was football crazy. That's all I played. Then when you went to the secondary school, the teacher there on the sports day turned around and told you what you were doing. And he pointed at me and he said, "You playing rugby?" I said, "No, sir, I play football." He said, "No, you're playing rugby today." So that started me at the game of rugby. I never played it before. There was a lot of booting going on in the front row compared to today. You know, everybody was having a go at it. So you had to protect your shins, and that was with the paperback books. You know, that's what you used to use.
Rugby union back in the 70s was ruled by the law of the jungle. It was for brutality. There was nothing like it. Today's game, if they behaved like that, you'd end up probably with about 6 aside. Back in the 70s, you know, there were times you watched matches and you thought, what more has to happen before a referee actually plucks up the courage to send somebody off? And you kind of felt, well, probably attempted murder might be the bottom line. It was that brutal, but yeah.
When we in the museum, we seen that Rose Bowl. Yeah. Because that was what you had presented to you when you went to medic table. And because we won it 3 times on the trot, Heineken as it was then, they said, if you win it again, you can keep it, and we did. So they said, you can keep it, and that's why it's in the museum now. The original Rose Bowl. It's a great time, Jimmy.
What's one that jumps out?
All of them. With Ray Prosser, the late, great Ray Prosser, with playing for him on the pitch. He's such a great man. The technical thing he could tell you on the game and all, you know. And like you said, technical I'll teach you, but you've got to be fit to do what I'm going to teach you. So he made sure that we were fit to carry out his orders.
And I remember saying to Ray Prosser, the great late Ray Prosser, coach of Pontypool, being a lion in his own right as a front row forward, I said, what was the greatest thing about Bobby Windsor in your view? And he said he could pick out a gnat's eye from 20 yards, and he would pick it out all the time. So he had this unerring accuracy as a hooker.
He knew the forward game, forward and backwards. He knew more than anyone. What I'm telling you, little tidbits about things, but his big thing, like you said, was fitness. And he'd have us running up over the mountains, you know what I mean? Oh, it was hard, running up over the mountains, and then you come down and then you do a circuit training. His belief was this game, Bobby said, is 90% fitness. So he trained you for really, the game was 80 minutes. He trained you for 90 minutes. Because a lot of games we played, like 15 minutes to go, it was 6-6, 9-6 or something. We just battered them. The last, where they were completely knackered, because he wasn't as fit as us, and we just battered them, and that's how we won a lot of games that way, you know. And we had a few rough times where there was teams wanting to cancel fixtures with Pontypool because they said we were too rough. You know, they wanted to cancel fixtures. Bath was one of them. Bristol was another one. Wanted to cancel fixtures. The Swansea, they wanted to cancel fixtures. They didn't like it up them. Me, Charlie, and Pricey, we sort of gelled together, you know. And we had good forwards with us. I mean, you say about the front row, you've got to have good men behind you as well. And but we sort of started to get a reputation. And then Max Boyce, God bless him, he done up a song up and under you, all this like. Everybody was singing it and shouting and what have you. And yeah, and it's sort of, yeah, we would chop the bees, we don't flip like that, it's embarrassing.
The beauty about rugby union in the 70s and pre-professionalism was that you had players from all walks of life. You had steelworkers like Bobby Windsor, like his Pontypool sidekick, Charlie Faulkner. You had students like Graham Price, the third member of what we lovingly called the Viet Gwent. And basically a majority of players from pretty humble working class backgrounds.
Bill Clements was the Welsh secretary, and when you were picked to go into the Welsh squad to go training down Aberafan Beach or wherever, you go down, you get a letter, and you'd also get a letter with it off the AA saying exactly the mileage from where you lived to where you were going.
These blokes would have to come off a shift in the steelworks or the coal mines and go straight to training. And, you know, if woe betide anybody who tried to fiddle his expenses to make an odd fiver because the Welsh Rugby Union came down on them like a ton of bricks.
In the steelworks, things were picking up, looking good. You get a phone call or a letter saying, squad training Sunday. Bring up Mr. Clements. Say, Mr. Clements, I'm working Sunday. Double time. So that you're talking 16 hours, 20 hours pay for one day. You know what I mean? Well, if you don't come, you can't play for Wales.
To a degree, it was not quite a master-slave relationship, but, you know, it was pretty one-sided.
You put up with it. Your wife puts up with it. You know what I mean? And she's chuffed to beans. Her husband is praying for his country, so she's chuffed. She realizes she got to go without certain things because of what you've got to give up that way financially, but you do it. It hurt a bit, you know. Well, you got a letter through saying that you've been picked, which was unbelievable. I was the only player from Monmouthshire to get picked to go on the first tour to South Africa. It was a tough old tour, mind. I mean, they keep on today and amazes me. Say, oh, they're big men in rugby today. What do you think we was? You ever seen South Africans? They're the biggest men I'd ever seen in my life. It was huge. Huge men, farmers and all, big, strong buckets, you know what I mean? We just said, well, the layers have been coming out here for years and getting belted all over the pitch. Well, we can do it with anything. Just, you know, we're all in, like, and that's it. And that's what you had to do. And what we did, there was a lot of fighting going on, but I mean, you could have gone on the pitch with a shotgun, he wouldn't have said you off.
What they did was truly historic.
I want to tell you, know, it's showing up. God, there was Merv, GGLS, being driven around their villages and their towns in open top cars and whatever. And I'm sat in the fucking couch house with the rest of the kids. Nobody's knocking the door.
I don't know why Bobby wasn't given a kind of hero's welcome home. You're right, certain players were. They were lauded. I don't know, I can't answer that one.
Well, I can't play. I can't play, so I'm sad.
Do you think you'd still play if you could?
Oh, I would. What bloody hell. I told you, I played, my last game I was 40, and my back was starting to give me a E up there, and my back, my neck, I mean, obviously in the front row for fucking 20 years or more. It's gonna fuck you up, but I just loved it that much.
And in the end, he only lost his place because somebody at Pontypool Park had marked the pitch out with, turned out to be lime.
And as always, because the boys holding my jerseys in the scrum or what have you, my jerseys. So I slid through that and they went up my back. The next day I goes to squad training. They had a look at me, they said, take it to the hospital, the Chepstow Burns unit. And they took me here and it was quicklime and my skin was falling off my back, you know. And then my wife died of cancer, same time. We played in Romania in the October. I'm picked back into the side, but no caps. There's a lot of games and no caps, you know. And I played against Romania, boot in the back. Oh, caught me right in the bottom of the back. And he'd shattered the disc in my back, didn't know what it was. I went everywhere for treatment, but I couldn't play for months. I go down to WIU to get together. They called me in the office and said, Bob, we can't pick you. I said, why is that? They spoke to the surgeon and he said he's giving no guarantees about your back injury. And he's advised that you shouldn't play anymore. So they said, we can't pick you to play. If something happened to you and we knew this, so I'm sorry, so that ended my career with Wales.
I'll tell you, sometimes you only appreciate how good a player is when you get somebody who's played against him to tell you what he thought of him. And I was lucky, Fran Cotton, the great Fran Cotton, sort of an old friend of mine, grew up, great lion in his own right. Cotton said something, he said, I've been privileged to play alongside many great hookers. And Bobby Windsor is unquestionably the greatest hooker of all.